What is going on? We are the Real Estate Revolution. This is your boy Mike, and I am joined with my fellow co-host. I'm gonna let this man introduce himself. This beautiful, handsome-looking man, my brother. Go ahead, man. Tell him who you are.
What's up, everybody? Eric Berry here, Rocket Digital Marketing. Just joined. Oh, am I frozen again? Okay. Oh, wait, if you can hear me. Okay, I'm good. Okay, yep. Eric Berry, Rocket Digital Marketing. Glad to be on the show today, Mike and Christina Morgan. Love to have y'all here. So I'll let you get back to it, Mike.
Man, appreciate it. And even though we had a real quick, brief introduction, we want to let these two lovely guests that are taking time out of their evening to spend with us on this show and crank this show up and give y'all some education. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We'll start with Morgan. Tell the people what you do, your name, how to get in contact with you, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, my name is Morgan Wright, and I work with Coldwell Banker. I'm a transaction coordinator. Best way to get in touch with me is going to be through email. I don't know if we can put that on there. You want me to say it? That's on there. Okay. Through email is the best way to get in touch with me. Like I said, Coldwell Banker, transaction coordinator. Anything else?
No, that sounds good. That's good. And let's go to Miss Christina. I see the balloon in the background with the spirit. Let's go, Christina. Is it on mute? Yeah, it might have that mic option
I'm seeing it.
Turned off. Yeah, I can see it too. So it's all good. We'll try to get that mic.
Well, fun part about being live, we got technical difficulties.
Hey, it's all good because I guarantee when Disney World started, they had more than technical difficulties. You know,
Oh yeah,
I saw them lawsuits, and we're not even on that level right now. So hey, Christina, how can we give you a test real quick? You can hear us, right? Okay, so we still can't hear you. So maybe if you have, I'm on my laptop and I have she logged off, come in. Okay, cool. All right, so anyway, we're going to try to get Christina back on the show. So we appreciate y'all bearing with us. So we're live. This shows you this ain't no script. We got errors, and we're going to make this show even funner because of that. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go over here to Morgan real quick. So Morgan, thank you once again for joining us, like we said. So first of all, what kind of got you into the real estate business? You know, a little bit, like tell us the people a little bit about yourself, because I know what you do, but I want the people to know how it is to get into the business. So from your experience, what got you into real estate?
So I got into real estate because I always wanted to flip houses. Really big fan of HGTV. I always loved the idea of flipping houses and property, stuff like that. So I went and took real estate school, and that's how I met Mike. And after I graduated, I signed up with Coldwell Banker, and I really loved real estate. And I was an agent for a year or something like that, but I realized my strength was in contracts. And so my broker actually put it out there. Coldwell Banker was trying something new, and they wanted a corporate transaction coordinator. So I jumped at the opportunity, and here I am. I handle contracts with people all over the state of Florida, and I love it.
Wow. So you watched some HGTV. You had the niche of flipping houses, and then you joined Coldwell Banker. So Coldwell Bankers are pretty cool brokers too. I have some friends that are part of Coldwell Banker as well. So how did the process go with Coldwell Banker and the transaction coordinator? Like, did you know somebody already, or did you have to like interview? How did that go to transition to transaction coordinator with them?
To transition was really easy, actually. Like I said, my broker sent out a mass email. It was like, hey, they wanted to try this out. Is anybody interested? And I said, yeah, let's do it. And it was literally an interview. Here's how you sign up. These are the people you get in touch with. And then from there, it was a real big learning curve trying to figure out how to market myself. I mean, obviously, as agents, we do that, right? You have to market yourself. So starting from there, it was just marketing myself, learning how to do it. And it was just handling everything in the background.
Got you. So becoming there's people watching the show, and they always ask the question, how do you even get to become a transaction coordinator? Like, what are some of the advice, I guess, and tips that you would have? Because is there some type of training that goes into it? You just get with an agent, they show you, like, how does that process work?
So I didn't have any training, but like I said, I was an agent beforehand. So I already knew how to do real estate. I knew how to do contracts. I knew how to do the process that Coldwell Banker expected. So It was literally just transitioning of not working with buyers and sellers and working with agents. It was the same thing. It was the same processes. And a lot of what I offer my clients is like, hey, I am a different set of eyes to what you do. Like, I am familiar with the process. I will go over contracts with you. I will review things. And it was just taking a back seat, basically.
Wow. So there you go, guys. Now, a lot of you watching the show that came on and wanted to learn a little bit about being a TC, as we call it for short. You know, Morgan is the one who's going to break that down for you guys, because I'm learning something myself as well. Because when I got into real estate, I was pretty much the stereotypical brand new realtor. I'm like, okay, all I can do is help people buy and sell houses. I had no idea how many types of careers are within real estate, with the transaction coordinator being one of them. So thank you so much. We're going to definitely expand some more on that. Let's see, Christina, can we get to your mic? Is your mic working now?
Yes.
It sure is. Yeah. It is like power coming back on from the hurricanes in Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. Lesson learned what platform to use. Okay, so my name's Christina. I'm with the Buckley group over at LPT Realty, and I do residential real estate as well as commercial. And I think that's all you wanted from me at that time, correct? It's just an introduction.
We want some more from Christina. You got too much over the spice in the sauce over there in real estate.
I'm just waiting for some questions and some interview questions. So go ahead.
Let's get it on. So here's a Q&A right here. So you mentioned the Buckley Group. Can you tell us a little bit about the Buckley Group? Who is the Buckley Group, and what brokerage are you with?
The Buckley Group, we're with LPT Realty. It's Better with Buckley as our hashtag. And it's just a group of sharks, basically. We're on the phones cold calling every day, leads, FSBOs. I called 2 today. I was like, if I don't have anything to do the rest of the week, I'm just going to drive around, other than, I can always look for expired and do there's other types of ways to figure out some FSBOs, but the best way for me is just driving around, or I just happen to kind of see them. I've seen 2 just on the way to appointments in the past week. And I'm like, maybe this is my niche. So I'm trying to expand on that and get comfortable with that. And then just because it's a shame, because I drove by and there's these 2 tiny little signs. I still don't have a clue what the house is. I called the guy. I've got somebody trying to look for me, because I drove around this morning, and like I said, 2 little tiny signs. How are you going to sell a house like that? Then the other FSBO that I inquired about, they had another little tiny sign, for sale by owner. And I just thought, hey, I called him up and said, hey, if I can bring a buyer, and if you're willing to pay this and some closing costs, I guarantee you can take a load off your plate. Do open houses. I can do the descriptions for you. I enter it into the MLS. That way, a lot of people have access to it. Hold the open houses where you do the communication. Just a lot of headaches, I'd like to say, I can take, and then sell it for a lot more, because there's so many programs within our MLS that kind of help us determine when we're putting an offer. Like, we go and look at the house, we kind of decide for ourselves, but then we've got to look at, the areas around us and what houses have sold for, different area codes and things like that. So it entails a lot more. And so, I hate to say it, it's the same thing when you think about it. It's like, you don't go to the dentist and take care of your own teeth. We will hire trainers, or we go to the gym. There's reasons why realtors and lenders and all of that. I mean, we bring a lot to the table, because we're the ones, we know everything. We're keeping up to date with the rates, and all of that stuff. So.
And I mean, you made a very, very valid point, Christina, about how we have the expertise, right, as realtors. Now, when you're with these FSBOs, is it me, or do they just seem like they think they know everything about everything? Oh, I can do this on my own. I don't need no realtor. What do I need you? I'm keeping my commission, the commission I pay you. Tell me a little bit about that with these FSBO people.
You got to be prepared for every question they're going to throw your way, because you don't want to be like on your phone real quick. So, and you've got to be thinking about it, but it's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're not treating yourself for a cavity. So it's the same thing. People think they know, but until you're down to the nitty gritty, we're the ones doing the marketing, the intel, the back and forth, and negotiating. The hardest part, I think, is just like, once you get it under contract, is getting it to that closing table from A to Z. It is not that easy. I'm working with a client, right now, and they're like, oh, you're going to love this. And I hate to break your heart, and I can't go into too much detail about it, but I wish it was as easy as they make it sound like, oh, this is great, and we'll just give them the letter and they'll accept it. I'm like, no, they still have to accept it, and then negotiations start, and then things can fall apart. People start thinking, maybe I don't want to spend this money. It can go all kinds of different ways. I've seen lots of things. So
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, FSBOs is something else, a different challenge. So let's get Eric over here, man, because I know Eric got some hot Q&A for you guys as well. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, so Morgan, as far as the transaction coordinator goes, when should an agent looking to get in a transaction coordinator? I mean, what's your best recommendations for that?
I could say as soon as possible, right? If you want to be really successful, you have to be able to focus on buyers and sellers. And so that's a lot of what I offer. It's, hey, you guys go focus on buyers and sellers and let me take your contracts to closing. Literally, you hand me a contract and I will get it to the closing table, get everyone scheduled, sign, everything like that. You go focus on getting more business. So as soon as possible, I think if you really want to be successful.
Okay, awesome. And it definitely sounds like you can take a lot of things off someone's plate and
Yes.
allow an agent to focus on what's going to make the most money. I mean, writing contracts doesn't make the money. Finding leads makes the money, right?
Right. Well, like Christina was saying, I mean, the closing process is difficult. A lot of people don't understand it. So, I mean, you guys go do other things. I'll take care of that.
Definitely sounds like a plan. And then as far as transaction coordinators, I'm assuming you do work with more than one agent at a time, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. What's the most you've ever had to work with as far as agents go once?
Oh my gosh, at once, I think 9. Yeah.
9,
But you have to work with more agents to be successful, right? I mean, it's just like
right?
being a realtor. You have to have a lot of buyers and sellers. So,
No doubt. And I'm assuming it's a pretty fun when you get 9 different transactions going at one time and one thing starts falling into place, right?
oh, you meant transactions. Oh, I thought you meant
Yeah.
agents. Oh,
Yeah.
transactions,
Yeah.
quite a few.
Okay. I can only imagine if you got 9 transactions going at once, how entertaining they can be, especially with the way the market is right now with multiple offers going. So awesome. Heck yeah. Now, Christina, as far as on the agent side, I mean, I know the market's looking a little crazy right now, but what's your thoughts on where it's heading for us?
I mean, it seems to have slowed down a little bit. So that's nice because it's not fun trying to compete with 30 offers. One time I called about a house, it had just been listed. They were like at 77 offers, and it becomes so overwhelming that agents have a hard time, communicating, like getting back, updating the MLS, letting people like, this is no longer on the market. So you're making plans. Yeah, we'll go see this house. It's like the first thing you have to do when you see a house listed, whether it was listed yesterday or whether it was listed in July, you've got to call and see if any offers. Because go figure, the houses that have always been listed for a minute, I'll inquire about, and they're like, oh, we just got an offer. It's like every time. So, it's imperative that you do that. But I think it's slowing down a little bit. People are always going to have to move. Statistically, they move every like 3 to 5 years. People are relocating, milestones in life. People are always moving, you know what I mean? And then we're in Florida. So, and then I'm in Orlando. So I service all of Florida. I was in Winter Haven today. I was in Davenport. So, and I'm in downtown Orlando. So I'm kind of in the perfect spot to shoot out to Lake Mary, to shoot out to, Leesburg, wherever I need to. I'm right here. So, and that's what I serve. And so, I'm starting to see houses sit. Some of them are sitting on the market a little bit longer than before. It's not like they're being snapped out right away. But again, I think that's a good thing to kind of just, I don't know, level things out, and we can do our jobs. I know it sounds terrible, but when you've got agents calling off the back of this house and you're trying to answer them, you're trying to respond to this text and this email. And honestly, it's very frustrating on the listing agents. Sometimes I get frustrated, but I'm like, you know what? I have to remind myself they're overwhelmed right now. I know how it feels. And it's, you try to get to everybody the best you can, but,
Right.
so.
Awesome. Now on those FSBOs, how's that process going with I'm sure they're thinking that the market is still like it was 3-4 months ago. Are they still expecting to have a bunch of multiple offers and over listing prices or
You know,
offers and all?
I think if you market it correctly, if you put it with the right company and you get it out there, then it's a possibility. Every property's different, and every property's got a different uniqueness to it. So you've got to find what's that strong point about that property, and then you've got to market it, and you've got to figure out who is this going to be. Who's going to, like, there was a property I was trying to sell that was a farm. And so I got on equestrian pages and groups, and I'm like, and that's who I was trying to attract, because we're talking about acres, and I'm like, these are the people, because they'd been sitting there for a while. So I think it's just, finding the right strong point about the house. And then a lot of things just sell for themselves. You can have the most terrible pictures up sometimes. And, and if it's got a great zip code, or, price is kind of right, it's not that difficult. So
Yeah, I've seen some pretty funny pictures on the MLS lately. So,
but I will, to add to that, I think sometimes people are thinking like, oh yeah, it should sell for this easily. And it's like, sometimes when we get to the bones, the skeleton of the house, it's not always
right.
what you think. And the other thing to keep in mind too, is that to people, it's worth a lot, because it's their house. A lot of memories were made there, a lot of stories, good and bad times. So to them, which I'm always respectful of, that's their house, you know what I mean? Like, so of course it's worth, you know what I mean, whatever, $1 million to you, but in reality, not, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful or, smart in any sort of way. We have to go by, what the property appraisers and all that go by. So
No doubt. Now, awesome. Now, for 2022, I'm sure you got some big goals. It sounds like it, as far as the conversation we've had today. But how are you positioned for 2022 to hit your goals? Are you on track for them?
I hope so. I'm getting there slowly, but
Okay.
surely. I'm getting there. So, and you know what? It's real estate's so up and down, and sometimes you're working with a lot of people, and then sometimes you're not. So, it's definitely, you've got to go hunting a lot. So I've been doing a lot of hunting, and then figuring out just figuring out what's a good lead, what's not, who I should put my time, because you can waste so much time chasing something and driving around forever. And then, I've still got people that we're still looking for houses, and sometimes people just decided, okay, we'll wait till after COVID, or we'll wait for this, or the rates, or whatever it may be. But some people, it's just, when you're up against 30 something offers, and you're having to waive contingencies, and you're got to bring 30 extra $1,000 to the table. I don't suggest that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Put yourself in that position. Just don't overpay unless it's absolute, like, my mom lives here, I need to live next to her, I'm willing to pay. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if you can sit, not everybody's in that comfortable position. I get it. But, hopefully people, are in somewhat of a good, so they can have somewhat of a smooth transition.
No doubt. Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Mike, I'm going to pass it back over to you, sir. I know you got some questions there for Morgan and all.
That's right. My name is Mike, and we got to get the microphone rocking, baby. Let's get it. So, Morgan, back to you, sweetie. So, being a transaction coordinator, I'm interested in this myself, not just the people. Believe it or not, Morgan, I got a lot of people watching this. So you are like the voice for TCs right now, because I'm so excited to learn about TC. Because like I said, I came in like the ignorant realtor, got my license. I'm ready to do houses. Had no clue that they had like 500 other fields that I could do. So do you have to be licensed? For the people that are watching that don't know, do you have to be licensed to become a transaction coordinator?
So I would say yes, but I have seen TCs that aren't, and I don't know how they do it, because for my clients, I offer to write contracts. I deal with the MLS. I deal with the whole title portion of it. I deal with the nitty gritty stuff that you need to be licensed for. So I highly suggest it. And having a background in real estate, I suggest that too. If you don't know anything about real estate, take some contracts classes, go take some other real estate classes, go sit on classes and learn about it, because it will just pay off in the end.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into a little bit more in detail what I was going to ask you as well about the contracts. Because so you were fortunate to have a broker and somebody that you were kind of like under the tutelage and get that knowledge. What about the people that are coming into real estate that are brand new to the business? They have no idea how to even spell real estate. And then, they're like, where the hell do I go? I've heard about TC. I want to be this, but I don't know where to start. Like, what advice would you give someone brand new? And as far as like trying to find classes and contract classes, what type of classes would they need to take to learn how to do contracts? Because those 12 pages are pretty challenging stuff to interpret, right? And when I first started, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So side note, I'm actually thinking about starting a training program. So if anybody's interested in doing that, let me know. But I would suggest the best contracts classes are offered by lawyers. So find a real estate attorney, ask them if they put on any classes. If they don't, they might know somebody who does. But you want to know exactly how to write contracts. My clients come to me all the time and they're like, can you look over this? And I'm like, oh, that should have been signed first, or that's not signed, or we need to get that initialed in order for it to be fully executed. The way I look at contracts is like, if this were ever presented in front of a judge, would it stand? And so, I mean, you need to know these things. We're literally dealing with contracts, and somebody's home it's a huge, huge purchase. You don't want to mess around with this. You want to know what you're doing. So like I said, probably the best place to start real estate schools. I mean, I know we went to Clymer. I think it's Gold Coast now, but I think they offer some classes now. But find a real estate attorney. They're going to give the best, most accurate classes about contracts.
Yeah, that is very good point there. Because I remember I went to when they redid the contract and updated and revised it.
Yes.
I actually went to a title company and they had an attorney on site. So you're absolutely correct about that. So just kind of piggybacking off of that real quick, with the coordinator going to these classes and getting this advice from attorney, then what advice would you have for that TC to select a potential brokerage? Like, you went with Coldwell Banker. Is there some advice that you would have for a new TC in selecting a brokerage or finding an agent? Like, how do they find agents to work for? What advice would you have for people seeking that?
So choosing a brokerage, for me, the biggest thing was classes, like we were talking about. Caldwell offered the most education. And I, having been completely brand new, literally nothing about real estate, I said, oh my gosh, they offer classes weekly, so I'm going to go with them.
Wow.
And so wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you know you're going to have help, because it is incredibly difficult to learn this huge contract all by itself, and then all the extra addendums and riders go along with it. I mean, you want to know that who your brokerage is, they're going to help you out. And then
Gotcha.
as far as just, what was the other part of the question?
Yeah, just so once you find the brokerage, then what about agents within that brokerage? How do you find agents,
So I was very fortunate that because Coldwell was trying out the corporate system, they did an email blast to all of the agents in my area. But to take that a step further, because they only did it a couple times, my LinkedIn has been incredible in promoting myself. People, say it's the Facebook for the workplace. So I have really upped my LinkedIn. And then I do my own email blast. I've created templates. I've created different marketing things that I send out to areas that I want to work with.
Got you. Well, that's great information right there, because I'm learning something new. I'm telling you. So I'm telling you guys, thank you so much for giving us that information, because we're going to come back to you and we're going to ask a little bit more details with some TC, because there's a lot of questions that I got flooded with. I'm like, I only got her for like an hour. I can't keep her on overnight, guys. So I literally have a few people who's probably going to hit me up after the show. She said she got a training for TCs. They're going to be like, let me get her number. I'm like, hey, this is my homegirl now. Y'all better make sure y'all come correct. All right. So, after the show, I'll definitely get with you a little bit more on that.
Perfect.
As we elaborate. All right. So let's check this, Christina. So I got a question for you. Now, I don't know how you're going to answer this, but I'll tell you how I'll answer it if you want me to go first. Do you work with every client?
No. You interview every client, but you don't work with every client necessarily, because it's super important that you have a consult with your client, whether it's selling or a buyer's agent, especially, and kind of explain the process to them. I think you can go over everything verbatim. Of course, they're going to forget on the, things you mentioned. But I think as long as it was mentioned, you kind of tell them, hey, this could happen, and kind of just prepare them a little bit, like, hey, this is going to be a wild ride. There's going to be some ups and downs, and, but at the end of the day, this is my job to facilitate and get you through from A to Z. And that's why, Morgan, it's important. Transaction coordinators, I had one at the last place that I was at, last brokerage, and that was the first time I'd ever had one. And I was amazed, because it was really, really nice because as these contracts, this is like the most, some of the biggest purchases your clients will make ever in their life, most expensive purchase. So, the fact that we're, this kind of money, and so many people don't know the contract like they do, it is so important. And like she said, the addendums and contingencies, and there's so much, and I'm constantly having to reach out to a lawyer and make sure that, I've got everything correct. And I still, I'm always like, okay, I hope that's, so it's really nice having a transaction coordinator. But anyways, back to, what was it? Oh, every client. you have to just interview them and kind of go through the process, and you can work for them for a while, and then sometimes you kind of learn that it doesn't work out, and the best, find somebody that better communicates with them on your team if you ever kind of run into that, situation, or get your leader to kind of get involved, or a broker to try to calm things down if things aren't meshing, because we're always the bad guy no matter what, even though we're kind of we're the conductor and we're running the train, and they don't know because they're not behind the scenes. They don't know how many phone calls we've been making, and let me call this person and let me email. And, so because we're the person that's finding the house and everything, it's like we're the doctor. Who are you mad at when you go to the doctor and things aren't, and you're still sick or something? You're kind of upset with the doctor, even though it's not necessarily their fault. It's kind of the same thing. So you just have to prepare your clients, emotionally for like the roller coaster it could be. But I definitely say you don't have to work or hire for every client. No.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I asked that question because there are realtors going to watch this, and they're wondering, especially if they're newer agents, that are not as seasoned, do I work with all these clients? Because people get so much information at once when you get your license. Remember how we had like 500 brokers call us as soon as you get your license? And you're like, who the hell is all these people? How'd you get my number?
They still recruit, but yeah.
Yeah. So, it's crazy because when we get into this business, we're told so many things. I can't speak for everybody, but I was told, hey, work with every client. There's never such thing as a bad client. I'm like, says who? There's some crazy people. I'm like, I'd rather refer them. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be real about it. So, that's just my,
you know what I mean? Like even new agents, seasoned agents, because you're talking with people on the phone. They seem so genuine. You're back and forth, sometimes, and then it's just weird how things go sideways. You're like, what? Like I won't even get started on the negative.
all the time.
Positive podcast, I think. But yeah, you can't work with every client, unfortunately, and sometimes you have to learn the hard way after you've already worked for free, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Always a learning experience, that's
always
what I take from it, and how to avoid it the next time for the next client,
Facts. Totally agree. Well said. So with this market changing, is there a certain type of real estate that you just kind of flock to now or adjust to, or do you still specialize in a certain specific real estate despite the market changing?
I mean, I like to be everywhere. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd be selling planes and yachts too. But, it's a learning curve. I'm still trying to get there. I'm still trying to learn all the ins and outs. There's so much with commercial that I learned when I did a commercial deal last year. And I was like, it doesn't seem as intricate as residential because you still have ACs and, all that stuff. You have all this particular stuff where commercial just kind of people are going in there and kind of doing their thing or renovating when they get into it. But I'm focusing, I think I'm trying to focus on some commercial. I'm definitely trying to focus on listings because it's, I like that. I like selling for people. I like representing someone. I like getting the job done. And as a buyer's agent, I like going and seeing different houses and stuff. But it's just very time consuming. You're on the road a lot all the time. So I think right now I'm focusing on listings, FSBOs, and trying to learn more about commercials so that I can just do more commercial deals.
Yeah, and also just to piggyback off of what you said on this show, Christina, you know me, hey, we can keep it 114. The negatives is what I like to talk about because people think it's all peachy and cream. They be like, oh, I have a closing. Look at me and my title company. They ain't going to tell you how people's calling their ass at midnight. I said ASS. Yes, I did. AZZ for AOL slang back in the day, if you guys are that old like me. You know what I mean? The hardships that we go through.
And then the next minute you're like, it's like emotional roller coaster for us, going back and forth. I'm sure Morgan, when you're, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit calmer on the transaction coordinator side because you're kind of neutral and, kind of just conducting it all or the organizer. But I know for me, sometimes things that my clients will tell me, or I'm like, what? I thought you bought that car a year ago. What do you mean? Like,
man, you lose a deal because they bought a car. You're like,
literally, it was the craziest I did the console. I did everything you're supposed to do. But to this day, it's like these people still don't think I really did anything for them. You know what I mean? So if you were negative, and it's just, and I just sit here and look and I'm like, one day you're going to have an experience. You're going to learn. that there is so much to this. And they're some of my friends, to be quite honest. They're behind the scenes. I actually hope maybe they see this one day. It is
Yes.
a lot because, people tell you, hey, listen, like somebody today, don't make sure I'm getting the best deal. You're my eyes and ears. I'm like, of course I'm your eyes and ears. I represent you. I'm going in this house today. I'm looking on your behalf. I'm going to see what I think it's worth. And if I don't think it's worth that price, we're going to offer it. I'm going to do my due diligence and comparables and all this stuff. And we're going to, it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, like maybe that's just, to me, it's mind boggling because I guess maybe there's agents out there that maybe have ruined it for other people that'd be like, yeah, let's offer 400 so they can get a bigger commission. I've never really actually seen that. Maybe it happens, but I'm like, of course I'm going to go in there and represent you. I represent you, and then if I'm representing the seller, I'm trying to sell this house for the most that it's worth. Now, if there's, of course, you always tell them everything that's wrong with the house and all of that. I'm never going to hide it or anything. Like what you see is what you get. Let's see the bones and everything. And you know what? That's what inspections are for and appraise and all that stuff. But yeah.
Now, before we get to Eric real quick, Morgan, it looked like you had a little something you want to chime in on because I saw the reaction when you was like, these damn people, if you got to go ahead and lay it out. I want to hear it from the TC. Lay the smack down like the Rock. Let me hear it.
No, it's not even the smack. It's just, when things are getting to closing and you see problems come up, it's like, I always tell my clients, I'm like, I will act as the liaison between your buyers and sellers. Like, they can contact me with any questions. And so when things come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're 2 days away. What are you talking about? I mean,
Right.
Things happen, and I do see it, but I hear you, Christina. I mean, things just,
you're like, what? Like things are like smooth sailing. Like last trend, I'm telling you, it was one after the other. Like I was just like, and I'm like, can I just get a breather, please? Even before the closing table, the walkthrough was even a mess, and I was like, man, like I'm not kidding. I probably had the worst transaction in the history of real estate. And I should, like, I'm not joking. Literally, like my broker was like, holy cow. I'm like, I know the title company called me, the other agent called me, but that's the thing. Here's the awesome thing about other agents and the people that know what they're talking about. That other agent told them, like, you were in the wrong. She is representing you. She has done like a great job. Like, we're going to get this deal closed, because if this deal doesn't close, that's the thing. People sometimes get to the table and they think that this is like you're like at a car lot, and we're negotiating and stuff. It's a little too late at the closing table. So
yeah.
Seriously.
Right on.
You on that.
Well said. Well said.
Awesome. Well, Morgan, as a transaction coordinator, I mean, what's some of the biggest challenges you face as a transaction coordinator? I know you just mentioned that you are the liaison and you will answer questions and stuff after hours and all that, but what's some of the biggest challenges you face on your side of the business?
Yeah, you guys handed me that question earlier, and like I don't have any huge challenges. Probably on my part is just staying organized and making sure everything's accounted for. But as challenges, I mean, everything is pretty cut and dry. Most transactions, I mean, they have a process that you go through. So as long as it's maintained and checks and balances are done and everyone is notified and keeping up with what they need to do, I mean, things run really smoothly. It's when people slip up or forget to do things, forget a second deposit, don't submit their paperwork in time, nobody can get a hold of somebody. I mean, that's when the challenges arise.
I gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, I remember what we asked that one earlier, but yeah, no, it's definitely the in the real estate process, things pop up all the time, and we can always see different challenges, especially the way the market is right now. But so say somebody wants to become a transaction coordinator. I know you said Caldwell had a program that opened up, but what say somebody wants to transition from an agent over to a TC? What would be your best recommendations for them to make that happen?
Best recommendations. So you're still an independent contractor, so you need to market yourself. And I know there's other brokerages that have TCs, but they're not at the corporate level, I guess, that Coldwell does it. They're just very independent, but marketing is going to be your biggest thing. And that is one of the things I was willing to teach is you have to be able to create these templates, get them to the right people. You have to be in people's faces. And then LinkedIn has been my saving grace. I can't say this enough. It's kind of ridiculous how much it has been, but I mean, I'll go on there and find all these agents who are in my region or who I work with Coldwell. I only work with Coldwell, so I'll market to them. And then, put these flyers together and hey, come work with me, give it a try, give me a call. I'm really open to just give me a call and ask me questions. I mean, if you're hesitant about wanting to try a TC, I get it. It's a fee. There's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to spend that extra money. I'm already doing photography and those other things. I'm like, just give me a call and let's talk about what I can do for you. And you can try it with one transaction and you don't have to go from there. There's no commitment. But I mean, I've heard from all of my clients that it's a lifesaver to have somebody else, like Christina was saying, to have somebody else looking at it, to have somebody else handle it. And it's not just all on you when you're trying to get more business too.
Awesome. Now, so you say you work with Coldwell Bankers. Is that tradition? Like, can you only work is that normal for TCs to only be able to focus on one brokerage, or?
I can't speak for other TCs. I know that there is like independent companies of transaction coordinators too who will work with anybody. But because I only work with Caldwell agents, I know their formats. I know how they like there's documents and everything's submitted. And so that's what I stick to. And because I'm more on the corporate side, I told them I would only work with Coldwell Banker agents, but I know there's a lot of people who do it all over the place. I mean, I've seen Keller Williams transaction coordinators and they work with Keller Williams people. I mean, it really depends on what you want to do and how far you want to branch out.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's an idea I keep kicking around myself for transactions. It's going to take something off my plate as far as extra work to do, but definitely I'm going to have to take a look into a TC on the next deal that I got going on.
Yeah.
It's take some stuff off the table, I'm sure Mike's thinking the same thing on that, right, Mike?
Man, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, I'm getting all this knowledge in because, Morgan and Christina are both talking about the TC aspects. One who's a professional in the TC, and then Christina, who's a realtor who has experience having a TC. Guys, we can't emphasize this, and this is why the show is called the Real Estate Revolution, because we just don't do traditional, hi, let's buy and sell a house. Man, we're gonna tell you the value, because a lot of you guys, being honest, want to get into real estate because you hear the hype about, I have my own schedule, I can be my own boss, I can make all this money, but you don't hear a damn thing about the process and the work that goes into it, nor do you even know that there's a position like a TC and what it takes to be able to achieve that. So I'm so thankful that we have you ladies on here to be able to educate the people out here, because trust me, there are people watching the show. I invited like 30 people, just FYI. And I know there's more than that. So yeah, it's important. When I'm writing my papers and I'm saving my files, like, do you guys use .loop out of curiosity at Coldwell Banker?
I love .loop.
Now, at my previous brokerage, I was using SkySlope. So to transition from SkySlope to .loop, it's not that it's the biggest transition, but the compliance aspect is so different. And the submitting of papers is just different. And you're correct. When you have a process and a formula, I can understand why you work with your brokers, because you specialize in that process. Mm-hmm. When I came from my past brokers to this one and saw SkySlope to .loop, I'm like, geez, I might need a TC. It's too much. You know what I mean? So I don't have no hair now. So
and you said you're going to probably start up a course, right?
Yes, I'm looking into it. And so that's why if anybody's interested, reach out to me. I've had a lot of people ask about how to do what I do. And it's just like, okay, I should just start teaching.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, one thing that we do with the Rocket Digital Pro software, we do have a membership course, and we do help people who are looking to start up a course and do their own membership platform. That's definitely something we should talk about afterwards. So definitely love to chat with you on that and all. But well, Christina, back over to you. What pro tip would you give yourself if you went back to the starting of getting your license? What pro tip, knowing everything that you know now, would you tell yourself to succeed and start off a whole lot quicker than you did in the past?
I don't know. There's so many things, like I can't, I wish I would have started with LPT, but LPT wasn't around when I became a realtor. So that's that is what it is. But I've learned a little bit of something, from each brokerage that I've been at. But going back, I would say, I don't know, it's consistency with marketing. I used to market like real estate on every single platform, like 3 or 4 times a day, not just like your same, not boring stuff. I would try to like spice it up, but I've kind of slowed down a little bit with it. You can choose to unfollow me if you don't like it. It can be your real estate, but I don't know. I guess maybe just keeping up with that. I'm a mom of 2. I'm a single mom of 2. I'm very involved in sports. I'm very, very dedicated to my children. So I've been working all day. I have to write a contract once I get off of podcast. And like I said, I was all over the place today. I'll be all over the place tomorrow. You know what I mean? I like it. It keeps me busy. But I don't know, because I've learned a lot on the way, but I just wish I would have been with just a better team in brokerage. I would say pro tip, I guess, thinking back right now, now that I think about it, maybe joining a team like at first, because you
Right.
get leads, you've got scripts, and actually using them, because they'll give you kind of scripts. I did the Keller Williams trainings. They're excellent trainings that they have over there. I've got the books. I've kept everything because there's a lot of information in there and a lot of things that you can, like a lot of things about FSBOs, different points you can hit it, because we've got to be so careful with compliance, and when there's listings, and just there's a lot that it entails. So I don't know. I think joining a team and having a really good mentor and somebody that's like really dedicated to the team, really dedicated to investing in you, not just somebody that's in it for themselves and just kind of wants you to make. And I'm not saying anybody in particular. I'm just saying, just about building their brand as opposed to your own. And that's what I like about LPT, is that we kind of thrive with our own brand. It's your own colors. It's your own, whatever you want. You get on your website, you can do your own font, you can upload your own pictures. It's LPT is in the background. When you think of real estate, we want you to think of LPT, just like when you think of shoes, you think of Nike, you think of Adidas. We definitely want to be one of those top brands, but it's still Christina Sells Florida. It's still the Buckley group. It's still Better with Buckley. It's still, when I'm getting on the radio and we're doing TV and commercials and stuff, it's all about your individual brand, your name, your website, all of that. So I would just say getting with a really good brokerage, which it's hard. I feel like you have to kind of experience a few. People will tell you, and everybody's a big cheerleader at each brokerage I think that they're at. But
Right.
until you get to a really good one, at our brokerage, we're a unity. It's like there's no competition. We all have our own clients. We're just like, everybody's just so positive. And so I don't know. Looking back, I just wish LPT was born, or Matt Buckley over the Buckley group. I've known Mike Jackson. I've met some really awesome people over at this brokerage. And in the last years, I've met lots of awesome people in the real estate world. Don't get me wrong, but especially at this brokerage, just some really nice, dedicated, just genuine people. And we all have
Awesome.
the same, like, let's make money, all of us, not just me, not just you, like, you know what I mean? Not just the big guy, everybody. So
Heck yeah. Now, as far as long-term goals, I know you're with LPT. Are you planning to start your own team at any point, or what's your goals for that?
no, I want to get my broker's license just to have it, because it's like a milestone for me. It's
Right.
classes, it's knowing more. But no, I'm like with LPT for the long run. When you look at the plans they have, when you look
Right.
at it's a lucrative, it's a long-term thing. It's not a short, let's go here and hop around next year. That's, there's longevity, I think in this company. So
Yeah, I know Mike says y'all have that. You can either go with the 100% commission or the team split. Right there, Mike.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So
Heck
we
yeah.
have two compensation plans. You can have what they call a business builder, which is 100% commission, where you basically keep all your money up front, or you can go to the rev share plan, which is an 80-20 split. Now, before people start jumping at the reaction of what I said, oh, there's other brokerages who do this 80-20 split. Keep in mind that there's a difference with this type of 80-20 split here, which is what attracted me, because we're getting 500 shares of stock. I don't know a brokerage doing that in terms of taking 20%. In addition to the fact that you're able to have 10 people in your first tier if you grow a team. So the beauty of LPT is you have the option to either build a team. You're not forced into a commission. You can choose your commission structure because you have two plans. So I think that attracts a lot of agents from my experience of seeing people join LPT.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Yes.
So let me just a little round table here, and anybody can jump in. And I want y'all to know y'all can keep it rated R. Don't worry about all that. We ain't got no censorship here. If you ain't 21, you can't
I
come
mark
in.
it not safe for kids on YouTube, so we're good.
Yeah, literally. So if you ain't 21, you can't come in the club. All right. So little round table discussion here before we wrap up. So once again, thank you, ladies, for coming on, and my co-host, of course. Thank you, gentlemen. And I wanted to ask, anybody can jump in on this. When you guys get done with your workday, what do you do to just say, I'm gonna unwind, I'm gonna chill? Like me, I'm drinking my nice little beverage here, adult beverage, right? But I like to go and watch sports. I like to go have that work-life balance. what do you guys have as far as like when you just had that one day where it's like, what can go wrong more, right? What do you guys do for leisure time to give yourself that restoration, that peace of mind, so you can come back better for your clients?
I like to go watch some old ESP reruns of the Dallas Cowboys winning some.
All right, hold up.
No,
No,
too soon.
hold up. Hold up. We're gonna cut that part out, Randall.
Oh, we're cutting that. We're live.
Dallas. In case y'all don't know, I hate the Dallas Cowboys, so he just threw a jab at me. He got me. I owe you one on the next show, Eric. I'm coming for you.
For me, family is my big thing. I've got 3 kids, and there's after work time. It's hanging out with the family, just doing family things. If you know me, I love to cook, I love to drink, I love to have fun, and just spending time with the family, and just night times after everyone's in bed, and I'm usually doing something as far as whether it's real estate related or marketing related, we're doing something. But just kind of continuing to better myself and do more things. That helps me unwind. So
awesome.
I don't watch Cowboys, by the way.
I know it. Yeah. So how about you ladies? Like, y'all can jump in. It don't even matter. It's just a little round table discussion right now. Just kind of seeing, because I asked this question because people really think like, we work all day. You ever heard people say stuff like, the reason why I'm asking this question for you guys that are watching is because there are a lot of people that have the audacity to say, I eat, sleep, breathe real estate, as if we have no life. Like they really think like to become an entrepreneur, you can't have fun. You know what I mean? Like, you got to work longer than employees. You really have no time to yourself. And I'm just wondering, is this true, or are they over exaggerating from you guys' perspective? Like, what about you guys' world?
Go ahead, Christina.
I mean, I think that's the nice thing about being in real estate is you can make your schedule, but you've got to hunt. And so it's like, how lucrative do you want to be with this? So, you kind of decide. So I've been raising my kids, and, we're slammed with baseball, but those are also opportunities to talk to people, and to market yourself, because they may not be buying that day, but they might think of you the next season. So it's kind of planting the seed, anyways, so family, like he said, drinking, yoga, kind of just like press, every day just coming down like, okay, because I'm looking at real estate. Sometimes when I'm falling asleep, it's like my bedtime story, looking at houses, looking at little house, the automatic search that you set up for your clients. So many, I swear my phone's probably gone off 4 times of just things sending to you. So you do live, breathe, sleep real estate, because real estate doesn't sleep, money doesn't sleep, and time is money. But I think that's the great thing about this career is that you can kind of choose it. So like I said, I was focusing on my family. Now I'm kind of like hunting. And then, when I'm at baseball, it's baseball. And that's the thing about this career is that you have to set up, you have a life too. You can't just, because if you're the type of person, like, people will not show up, and they'll, if they think you don't have anything going on, you've got to set, you've got to be like, I'm available from 2 to 4 if you want to go see houses this day. Otherwise, I'm available this day, and this day. You kind of got to tell your clients. Otherwise, like, and we've experienced, or we've just learned from, all kinds of different classes I've taken, different ways to kind of set your schedule, because honestly, you'll get burnt out if you don't. And if you're just running all day doing real estate, you're not taking time to yourself, you're no good to your clients, because you're done, you're tired. You're just kind of like, oh, another house. I mean, I've looked at so many houses today. I start getting confused and given the wrong details. I'm like, let me pull this up and read it verbatim, because I'm telling you this house was listed yesterday or 6 months ago, and that's great. And then I learned it was listed yesterday. It just gets confusing. It's a lot. So you definitely got to step out of it for a little bit, but it's hard, because if you're like how I feel right now, I don't want to sleep on it. Like, I want my couple hours to get my sleep in so that I'm not a disservice to my clients, but then I'm ready to go. But it hasn't always been that way. So, there's bigger things I'm deciding that I want in my life. There's other bigger transactions I'm trying to make. So I'm like, okay, now it's time to get out there and get some more listings and do what I've got to do. But as long as you're exercising, eating well, enjoying some beverages, not too much, because let's not let that hangover last way too long these days. Forget about it. I'm done. It's not even worth it. Like for me, literally, I'm at the age where I'm like, no thanks, you know?
Right.
And that's it. Now,
Gotta hydrate.
you don't realize you're living. You're just having too much fun, but drink lots of water, eat well, take some Tylenol, you know, before bed, and good to go.
Yeah.
So what about you, Morgan? What do you do?
So I do work quite a bit. I wake up very early before my daughter. I'm a single mom, so family's really important. But I wake up before she goes to school and work, and then I take her to school, and then I come home and work. But exercising is how I like to spend my downtime. But then at the end of the night, when it's been a really long day, it's just cuddling up with her on the couch and just watching TV. And you have to just deflate and just relax for a little bit. But no, yeah, real estate. I mean, you have to grind if you want to be successful. And so I'm working a lot, but I also love what I do, so I don't consider it too crazy.
Yeah, and that's well said by everybody. And this just goes to affirm, guys, for you that are interested in becoming in real estate, and you're like, hey, I gotta work so much. I don't know if it's worth it because I have a set schedule at my job. But you guys are also the same ones that says you don't like asking when you can take a vacation, or you don't like working for someone else. So the freedom of flexibility that you have, it's like, hey, to get this, you got to give up this. And that's just how it is. You know, you can't have the cake and ice cream, right? So you guys, I mean, it's just proof that from all you respectful individuals on here and professionals are showing that you can have a work-life balance. You do got to grind, but you still can carve out some time and, you know, invest into your families and your own interests as well.
Yeah, I feel like you have to. With how hard we work, you have to be able to reboot a little bit in order to keep going.
Absolutely. I mean, if we had a visual to show, you know, this can right here that's now empty, but if it was halfway full and I'm up here, if the liquid represented knowledge and the best we can give our energy, we're not our best. So we have to get that restoration. We have to fill our cups in order to pour into someone else. Otherwise, you run on an empty cup. It's just like a gas tank. Try driving on E and see what happens. You know, so
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, right. So
Now,
yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I got a question. So are y'all using anything right now to automate any of your processes? I know, Morgan, you said you do a lot of LinkedIn marketing and stuff, but have you automated any of your business at all?
No, I haven't automated it. I'm quite busy right now, and so but I'm always accepting more, so don't turn off any people. But no, I don't automate it. I just whenever like every couple of weeks or something, I'll you know get on there and I'll start adding people, or I'll reach out and send messages, stuff like that, emails. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of where some of the things I've taken into is just automating some of those email follow-ups and just, you know, that nurture process. Once you get a lead in, it's still kind of, you know, they're 6 to 12 months out. That's where the automation process kind of comes in to start to send those communications back and forth. But Christina, have you done anything like that with your side of the business as far as nurture goes?
Well, I joined a team, so we've got some paid leads and we've got some company leads. And as far as I've thought about, I mean, listening to Morgan, it's like, and as much with the paperwork, you know, it's like I'm better when I'm talking and I'm kind of negotiating and going back and forth and focusing on my marketing, because it's like a one-man show doing like 10 different things, you know, and that's impossible sometimes. Like realtors need some more credit, you know, because we're doing the marketing, we're doing the accounting, we're doing the negotiating, we're writing the contract. So it's like making me, I'm like, ooh, transaction quarters. I forgot how lovely it is, because you literally just tell them the terms and bam, you know, that's it. So that's awesome. So I'm thinking about that, and you know, I don't know what we've got going on, but we're a new growing brokerage, and we're implementing so many different programs and stuff. So I've been thinking about paying for marketing as far as transaction coordination. I don't know about that. And since leads are already taken care of for me, but I have thought about hiring somebody to do like my marketing, like they'll post for you a couple times a week. They come up and so it's just not the same like generic stuff. It's actually like creative stuff. It's your brand. You send them pictures. They'll tell you what to do, what kind of video to kind of make, because I'm not good at this TikTok and stuff. I'm constantly asking my daughter, I'm like, help me. She's like the queen of TikTok, like most teenagers and kids, you know. I'm like, give me some ideas. And I'm always trying to think of ideas. And trying to actually, orchestrate it all. Cause I'm like, well, I need like a cameraman and I need this, it's a lot. So I thought about hiring somebody for the marketing aspect because trying to do it all is just too much. Even when you're a part of a team, I've got like a strong backbone, but again, it's a one-man show trying to hunt and get people. And it's always nice when you've got, because we're all going to make money, the more we can lighten our load, each of us. It's, like Morgan said, you can go out there and get leads and you can focus on relationships, and following up with leads and things like that. So we'll see.
Well, you let us know, Randall on the back end here, between him and I, we handle a lot of marketing for a lot of people. So we definitely, I know I'm talking the real estate side, but that's what we do is the marketing side for agents. It's funny because Mike got me to actually jump on TikTok and do some short form content. So our platform we're actually running, so I can post up to TikTok and then have it repurposed over to about 6 different other platforms. But if you need some help in that side, definitely reach out to us. Definitely let have a conversation with you on it. So
absolutely, no, definitely, I love that.
Yeah, being able to market on social media, I feel like is a gift. I don't have that, but so many people who do. I'm just like, it's very impressive.
Well, there you go. Hey, we can wait. When I was talking about the automation side, when we post up, I can make one post, and with our Rocket Digital platform, it can go out to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, your Google business profile. Which, if you're not taking advantage of a Google business profile as an agent or even a TC or any bit of, we're 1099 contractors. We are small business owners at this point, so definitely take advantage of your Google business profile and reputation management. So. And anybody watching today, reach out to us. We'd love to help you out too. So, you got anything else there, Mike?
Man, I tell you what, I was just amazed at how we got 4 minutes left because I said this right before we got on. I said this show gonna fly by. Remember that? And I'm like, it's almost 10 o'clock. I felt like, man, they done gave us so many jewels. I know I'm having people text me literally right now as we speak. Well, ask this, ask that. I'm like, man, y'all better stop. I'm trying to focus on this show. Got these guys, and Christina's about to write another contract probably after she got the show. So she done dedicated some time. I appreciate it, my sister. And we got Morgan over here dedicating her time. It is getting late, but these ladies came on and they gave us some gems, guys. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This knowledge that they're dropping, you guys don't understand that people are going and getting this information, paying a lot of money. And these professionals came and took their time, chopped it up with their boy Mike and Eric and Randall in the back. And they're giving you guys some sincere stuff. So in return, I hope you guys understand. You guys got to reach out. If you're looking to become a TC and Morgan's getting her own thing, y'all better holler at my girl because she's solid.
Email.
Yeah, and she's certified, guys, because I know, you know what I mean? So I'm co-signing her. So y'all better make sure you holler at her. And Christina, she's grinding for you. She's doing her thing in real estate as well. So that's how we do at LPT. We work as a team. I want to see her shine because if she win, I win. So and my guys over here, they got their software too, and they doing that thing. You see these 5 beautiful faces you see in front of you? I ain't do that. My man Randall and Eric did that. So y'all want to see some more, make sure you holler at them too. For real. Now, do y'all have an outro? So if there's anything that you feel like you didn't get a chance to say in these last couple minutes before we close, do you guys have anything that you want the people to know or any contact information?
No, I think we had a really good discussion, but if you have any questions, just email me. I'm always on my email. It's always on my phone next to me. So, just go ahead and contact me.
All right, Christina, how about you? Anything you want the people to know before we close it? Any last words?
No, just I don't want to take your spotlight, but LPT Realty, Christina sells Florida. That's my hashtag. Better with Buckley. I feel like we're on the radio show where we do like all our. I had it listed. I was like,
we're everywhere.
Website.
We're on YouTube, Facebook. We'll be on TikTok later on this week. Instagram Reels.
No, I love it. Yeah. That's amazing.
You'll be out there, so just make sure you tell everybody where they can find you at.
Okay. Well, I spotlight for Mike, but yeah.
No, I got you. I got you on here. We're
this is y'all spotlight, not ours.
You know me on Instagram. You can find Mike Jackson on Instagram because he's my friend, or on Facebook.
Hey, and I tell people the beautiful thing about relationships is it's not even just business. This is genuine. I want to see Morgan shine. I want to see Christina shine. I want to see my co-host shine. Like, this is not a selfish thing because, when they shine, I shine. And what I mean by that is if you don't believe me, think about, have you guys ever seen a profession that truly collaborates together? Like I've seen pilots. These people come together and protest together, and like we all quitting the job. We ain't flying no planes, and they make the Deltas and all these companies pay them. So when you see realtors in professions do the same thing where we align together, we actually are a better service to our clients because there's some aspects of real estate that Christina has experience in that I don't. Morgan has experience in the TC. I've never been a transaction coordinator other than for myself. So, and my co-hosts right here, they have the experience in the technological aspect as well. So when we put our things together, like Captain Planet, that's for the old people. Y'all don't know about that. When we put our powers together, you know, we come together in our talents. We actually do more for the community. So nobody's stealing anything. In fact, we all shining. That's how I love it. So I'm in the sideline. I'm sitting back. You guys, I want y'all to shine. I'm happy. I'm over here like a cheerleader. Let's go. So, but yeah. So thank you. This will be going on all kind of platforms, as Eric mentioned: YouTube, TikTok, everything, IG. We're gonna have the whole everybody shebang seeing you. We'll make sure we tag everything, and you guys are gonna get a lot of exposure. So when people see this, they really might be contacting you. So we got the contact info up. So guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and that's the like button in case you didn't know. Okay, the thumb, literally. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and check us out, guys. So, man, we appreciate
some comments down below too. Let us know what you want us to talk about next time. If you're interested in getting on the show, realestaterevolution.io. Come on and join us. We'll see you next time then.
Absolutely, right on. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Gentlemen,
thank you for
I
having
appreciate
us.
it. It was an honor.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all
Thank you.
next time.
Thank you.